3, 2. From turbulence to thunderstorms, the atmosphere can be unpredictable. That's why advancements in weather forecasting aren't just helpful, they're essential for safe flying. According to the Federal Aviation Administration, approximately 45,000 flights take off, cruise in the lower stratosphere, and safely land with about 3 million passengers in the U.S. every single day. And for that to safely happen, forecasts from experienced meteorologists are key. Aviation meteorologists specialize in making forecasts for pilots with different variables the general public wouldn't give much thought to, such as cloud ceiling, icing conditions, or wind speeds aloft. Even small changes in these variables can impact whether flights should take off, and it is important that meteorologists are able to predict these dangerous environments, as well as for pilots to be familiar with these hazardous conditions. Aviation enthusiast, professional pilot, and my father, Keith Plumb, emphasizes that understanding how weather behaves is crucial for safe flight. He attended Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, where pilots were required to take various classes, such as physics, aerodynamics, and aviation meteorology, to know how to safely fly.
It was meteorology for aviators, and so they tie in, but we still had to do weather forecasts, and we would be assigned an airport, and you'd have to do the terminal forecast for there, and you'd have to look and see what the weather systems, the cold fronts, warm fronts, whatever was kind of coming through, wind shifts, temperature dew point spread, because if it's, as you know, if it's close to the same number, then you get fog. So that all affects pilots, and so they made sure that we had a full year of meteorology.
That training prepares pilots for real-life scenarios, especially in smaller aircraft. While commercial jets have advanced de-icing systems, most small planes don't. That makes winter flying one of the most challenging and dangerous parts of general aviation. They must anticipate winter weather hazards before they even take off, because by the time ice begins forming on the wings, safe landing options become extremely limited.
Even though it might be clear the first couple thousand feet, but then we'd go into the clouds, which are liquid, and if it's below freezing, you can pick up ice in the clouds, and we have no way to get it off of our wings.
And that's just one of the elements pilots have to plan for. Another important factor in smooth airport operation is avoiding the most anxiety-inducing atmospheric factor for passengers: turbulence. While some people enjoy the thrill of a little drop in altitude, plenty of flyers get chills down their spine the moment the pilot turns on the fasten the seatbelt sign. In an airline or jumbo jet, bumpy air is more of a threat to the passengers than the makeup of the aircraft. Turbulence can lead to injuries for unbuckled passengers or even buckled passengers when loose objects become projectiles. That is why pilots spend a significant amount of time reviewing turbulence forecasts, upper air patterns, and pilot reports before even arriving at the airport. Knowing where unstable air sits in the atmosphere allows them to map out the smoothest route possible. But for smaller planes, safety of the aircraft is a greater concern, and thanks to evolving technology, general aviation operations have become much safer.
And there's just sometimes you just can't go fly because the weather's bad. But it's definitely changed in the last 15 years because of technology and being able to use next red radar, being able to use internet to look at radar stations, to get real-time weather reports while you're flying in the air. I can be an hour away from landing somewhere and I can check and get exactly what's happening there for the winds, the clouds, temperature, dew point, things like that. There's things in the cockpit that you can help make decisions to fly around thunderstorms or not flying to icing conditions. And that's the thing about weather. It's ever changing. It's never the same thing the same day.
And technology like this is essential for the guarantee of a safe flight. These improvements help identify hazards earlier, giving pilots more of a time to reroute around varying weather patterns. This is especially important with the amplification of severe weather that even pilots are recognizing.
Weather is a powerful, powerful force. And again, I think just in my flying career, it just seems like the weather's more intense. It's more unstable. Thunderstorms are getting taller, you know. It's you just don't mess with Mother Nature.
This is why airline pilots and first officers are required to accumulate a certain number of flight hours before they can hold their positions. measuring a minimum of 1,500 hours to be a first officer. This makes flying commercially much safer than any form of transportation, with the National Safety Council reporting that the odds of dying in a commercial plane crash to be about 1 in 11 million. The odds of dying in a car accident are roughly 1 in 101 people, making driving over 100 times more deadly.
When there's something bad that happens, whether it's a small airplane or a big airliner, it's all over the news, so a lot of people know about it. Every year, typically aviation gets more safe. And part of that is pilots getting more tools, more technology to help them fly the airplane.
Despite headlines focused on rare incidents, the aviation industry is one of the most heavily regulated and monitored industries in the world, using some of the newest technological systems created. Advancements in meteorology and technology have given pilots a clearer picture of the atmosphere, allowing them to make safer and more informed decisions. Whether it's wind shear, icing, or rapidly strengthening thunderstorms, these improvements have transformed how pilots make better decisions from takeoff to touchdown.
It has definitely gotten more safe, but there's nothing that beats quality maintenance on your airplane, training, getting professional training on your airplane as a pilot, and then knowing how to use all the tools when you go and make weather decisions.
Pilots rely on aviation meteorologists to make these complex weather decisions. Their insight is the foundation of aviation safety, ensuring that travel through the atmosphere remains as smooth and safe as possible. For Weather World, I'm Liz Plumb.